A long time ago, in the 90s to be precise, when my family owned a radio and a television that had just one lonely channel to choose from, I passed my time looking through the sepia-toned pages of a Pitman shorthand dictionary. That's when I chanced upon the word obstreperous, an adjective that meant unruly and noisy. Well, I was a teenager and in the 10th grade back then. And so, like most teenagers in the 10th grade in India, I made a note of the word and sprinted to my teacher and asked her the meaning of it. Teenagers, you see, always love to act smart. The teacher turned out to be even smarter. She took one angry look at me and said, "Why don't you look it up in the dictionary?" Well, both the Oxford and the Cambridge dictionary, the divas for all things British English, state the same meaning of obstreperous, with the Cambridge dictionary rephrasing it a bit so that you don't think one copied from the other. As for the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the one that is usually referred to for all things American English, it has not one but two explanations of the term. But for all practical purposes, both mean the same thing as the ones carried by the Oxford and Cambridge dictionaries. The word's origins date back to somewhere around 1600. It's derived from Latin's obstreperous, in which ob means against and strepere or strepere means make a noise. Put together, they mean make a noise against. But does obstreperous make a lot of noise in terms of usage these days? Well, according to Google Ngram Viewer, a search engine that keeps track of how often a phrase or expression has been found in printed works between 1500 and 2019, obstreperous has been around but used much less, though there has been a slight uptick in its usage in print since 2012. Google Trends, which analyzes the popularity of search queries in Google Search, also pretty much says the same thing. It did record a spike in its usage sometime in July 2020. That was when Joe Biden, the current Democratic presidential candidate, used it when talking about Senate Republicans. According to Google Trends, in India, the top 5 places where this word is rather popular are Jammu and Kashmir, Delhi, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Telangana. Obstreperous has also managed to stay literally in the news as well. On the 2nd of October 2020, an opinion piece in the Deccan Chronicle likened the behavior of Donald Trump to that of an obstreperous businessman who mocked the country that gave him a fair opportunity to go for the highest office. On the 7th of October 2020, Mark Leon Goldberg, writing for the Washington Post about why the WHO deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, said global stress was often exacerbated by a rather obstreperous US president. On October 9th, 2020, an article in RTL Today, a news service in Luxembourg, described a drunk driver as being obstreperous when he wanted to continue on his trip despite being told he was too intoxicated to do so. On 15th October 2020, Bill Wine, writing for the Chestnut Hill Local, a local weekly newspaper in the USA, discussed the 2013 movie Saving Mr. Banks and used the word to describe British-Australian author P.L. Travers, who was portrayed by Emma Thompson in the film. On 17th October 2020, Cameron Dudu, writing for the African online news portal Modern Ghana, used it to sketch the persona of Fifi Hesse, the first black African Rhodes Scholar at Oxford University. And on 19th October 2020, in an editorial about the goods and services tax in India, Free Press Journal, a daily published in Mumbai, used the word to describe the Indian states who weren't too happy with the Boral plan of the central government. Speaking of India, I have to tell you that I had almost half a mind to write to Shashi Tharoor asking him what he thought of obstreperous. Tharoor, you see, is an Indian politician, a former international diplomat, and a writer who, apart from columns and articles, has written several books in English. The Great Indian Novel is one of them. Tharoor also has a penchant for using words such as perspicacity and words such as this one here, which rather ironically means the fear of long words. Well, in the end, I decided not to write to him, and I'll tell you why. First of all, he would not have replied. And had he to, what you see running at breakneck speed across your screen right now is what I fear he would have sent me. all those beautiful, simpering words prancing about all over his reply. All of that just to say, "Oh, obstreperous. I've used it in kindergarten, but well, what's kindergarten to me is several grades up the education line to y'all." Well, all said and done, and taking the presumably delightful obstreperousness of Shashi Tharoor into consideration, Obstreperous is quite clearly here to stay.